I'm Kristin Beasley, and this is a passion of mine, but it is not my studied field of expertise in any way. However, I have studied probably as much as I did in my graduate program on cryptocurrency over the past 14, 15 months. And since I'm not sure there are any graduate programs on cryptocurrency, I kind of know a little bit about this from my own personal lens, though. So this is a new world. Sometimes people refer to it as the Wild, Wild West. And so this is my take as a clinical psychologist. My background is in clinical psychology and early childhood development. So I'm looking at it through a very social political lens. And how people operate in the world. But I feel like I have a lot of lessons learned to share with you. So where are you guys at with cryptocurrency? Who knows anything? Tell me what you know about cryptocurrency.
I know that there's different types of coins, and in order to keep a ledger, everyone has to keep the ledger in terms of the mining process,
right?
Which is the ledger. So when you have, say, person A and person B, when we make an exchange, our IDs are multiplied, and then that's the code that everybody has to keep up.
Right. Okay. Good. Interesting. Okay. That's not my strength area, but that's fascinating, and that is how I understand it as well.
It solves one of the issues that we have today, which is going to a third party to exchange money.
Absolutely.
It removes them and it makes it a more peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer. Absolutely. It's definitely our shift in our economy towards social equality and financial equality. So who uses Venmo? Okay, so look at you. Yeah, see, Venmo, peer-to-peer exchange of money. That is the future. We don't want to go to the bank. I don't want to pay an ATM $2.50 to take my money out of it. And I certainly don't want to spend a third of my money to send cash to my family in China, Mexico, India, Australia. So those are important things in terms of the social justice around economy. Anyone else? Who else knows about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin? Who's heard of Bitcoin? Who's heard of altcoins? Who knows what an altcoin is? You want to tell us?
An altcoin is something other than Bitcoin.
Pretty much an alternative coin. Good job. All right. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through. Who's heard of this phrase? To the moon. You've heard to the moon. Okay, so interesting. To the moon is actually a phrase that you're going to hear in the crypto lingo land, which means that it's going up. And in this past few weeks, everything's been going down. So we haven't heard a whole lot of that. So this presentation is called Bitcoin, the Blockchain, and Beyond. Like I said, I don't know everything about this by a long shot. This is what I have studied over the past 15 months, and I'm going to share with you today. So our agenda today is we're going to talk about the warnings. What is cryptocurrency? Should you invest in it? A little history and purpose about what cryptocurrency is, cash versus crypto, how do I buy it, the language of money, mining crypto, and questions and comments and concerns that you might have. So Bitcoin, what is it? What is Bitcoin? It's a digital asset. Can anyone actually, you see this picture all the time? Does anybody ever really have that in their pocket?
No.
No. It's a digital asset. It's money, but it's in the form of a cryptography. It's in the form of crypto. It's in the form of programming. So it's designed to work as a medium of exchange. So it means, oh, I want you to do this for me. I need some money from you, but you're not going to give it to me in dollars or gold or sheep. You're going to give it to me in cryptocurrency, because this is the world that we live in today. Uses of cryptocurrency, they're secured on a blockchain. So I don't know what this gentleman's name is, but you were explaining how the blockchain creates a ledger, and that ledger is replicatable and verified by other people on the blockchain, and that's how we move the money along. But so anyway, it's the ability to transfer assets electronically. Questions?
What are the blocks?
Oh, goodness. Todd, that's your job. You're going to learn about the programming part. I am the social political part. The blocks. All right. So there is a right way and a wrong way to approach cryptocurrency. Absolutely, for sure. The right way is study, study, study. Don't believe everything you hear. Do not necessarily believe there's a bubble, there's a this. It's over. It's over. Bitcoin's over. Bitcoin hasn't even started. 2 people held up their hand about knowing what Bitcoin is. It is not over. However, don't listen to me, because this is the wild, wild west. I am self-educated around this environment, and I have had to look at lots of different sources. So do not invest money. People will say this all the time, and I'm going to say it to you as well. Do not invest money that you are not willing to lose. However, and don't go into debt. And in fact, just in the past couple of weeks, all the credit card companies and banks have said, like, it used to be like I could just pull out my credit card and say, hey, I'm putting Bitcoin on my credit card in an exchange. But that is a no-go anymore. They're like, it's too volatile. You cannot use your credit card to buy Bitcoin anymore. However, I don't think that's necessarily a terrible idea if you've studied, and you know how to play these markets well. Now, having said that, I'm glad you're not allowed to do that, because I don't think you really should do that unless you're absolutely great at day trading. So lots of different sources. Study, study, study. Be your own mastermind and communicate with other people. You really have to get different perspectives in order to learn about this new way of doing things. The history of Bitcoin. This is like brand new. We are really in, well, I'll just call it what it's called. It's a disruption in our culture. It's a disruption in the world. And it's going to disrupt our economy completely and transform the way we use money. The very first Bitcoin ever to be in existence was in 2009. It was created under a pseudonym called Satoshi Nakamoto. And Satoshi is like this mystery guy. And maybe he's a woman. We don't know. Maybe he's 4 guys and 4 women. We don't know. Nobody knows who Satoshi is in real life. Like, lots of people speculate in terms of knowing, but we don't know. So Bitcoin comes along, and its purpose is to disrupt the economy in order to make it a more level playing field for everybody to participate in the money system. Who feels like, dang, I don't want to pay fees to the bank. I don't want to pay Western Union to send money. I don't want, like, that's not fair. If I earn $1, I should be able to spend the whole dollar, right? Feel like that? All right. So in terms of Bitcoin only, we're just talking about Bitcoin here. There are 21 million Bitcoin. So if I have, I'm going to use $1 because it's an example. If I have 1 Bitcoin and it looks like $1, I can break that Bitcoin into 1 million pieces. So you take $1, how many pieces are in $1? To its smallest denominator, 100. You get 100 pennies for $1. You get 1 million pieces of Bitcoin for 1 Bitcoin. So now multiply that times 21 million. There are only 21 million Bitcoin in existence in the entire world forever. I can own a whole Bitcoin, or I can own 1 millionth of a Bitcoin. Or you can, or somebody in India, or Australia, or China, or the North Pole. So it's crystallized. It's not, there's nothing fluid about it. Oh, the economy's going down, we're going to throw some more Bitcoin into the mix. No, no, no. As of January, there are about 1,400 to 1,800 altcoins. Those are things, everyone hears about Bitcoin. They're the giant. It's like Amazon or it's like Facebook, you know. In the grand scheme of the world, though, we really have 1,400, and probably in 5 years this number will go to like 50,000. Coins are developed to create utility in different industries. I know this is a lot to take in, it's confusing, but anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about altcoins as we go down the road. Do you have questions right now? Do you get the difference between Bitcoin and altcoin?
Yeah.
Because that's a key piece. All right, what's the purpose? The purpose is economic equality. So the world, we had a crashing recession in 2008, and we also have this huge surge of millennials entering the workforce and our economy. Does anybody know if they're a millennial? Or if you're after the millennial and you're a Gen Y? Okay, you don't have to know that. However, these two generations, along with Gen X, who backs up to millennials, we don't necessarily, as a group of people, trust banks. We don't necessarily trust that our money is being handled well. So, and we care a lot, not that other generations don't, but we care a lot about social justice and equality and having it be fair for everyone. So the idea that Satoshi Nakamoto came up with was, we're going to make this, we're going to decentralize the economy in order to make everybody accountable for it. Blockchain. So if we make a copy of the ledger and then we make somebody verify it to the point of transferring the money, then that's more fair. It's harder to hide things. So, yes?
People that participate in the blockchain have a chance of getting a part of the Bitcoin.
And there is the part of, yes, there is a payment for participating in the blockchain, which is called mining. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So there's a mistrust is what started and of the centralized banking system, which means, oh yeah, you want to cash a check? Well, I can't just cash a Kristin Beasley check unless Kristin Beasley has a relationship with JP Morgan or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. So, but now with altcoins, we can exchange Bitcoin and other altcoins, and you have no idea who you're exchanging with. We are a long string of numbers, and it's a process, and we switch stuff, and it's traceable, so it's not like underground dark money, which people say all the time in the news too, but it's not necessarily, when you go to the bank teller, if the bank teller makes a mistake, then it's traceable right to your name. They're going to call you on your personal cell phone. Nobody in the blockchain is going to call you on your personal cell phone. So you need to be absolutely personally responsible for every single step of being involved in the cryptocurrency world, especially right now as it's becoming new. The other is the affordable transfer of money. I mean, we really do live in a global world today. So we're, my own children communicate online with people all over the world today on a regular daily basis. I'm sure most of you do. Who communicates with, who games with somebody in another country? Who games at all hours of the night because you're on different time zones or whatever. Okay, so your generation, millennials and younger, typically do not recognize borders the way okay, I'm not going to say it. The way other people and certain demographics do. So so this ability to transfer money and the ability to participate in each other's lives aren't defined anymore by these like weird borders that show up on maps. So, questions?
Oh yeah, I have a question. What about the legal implication of, in terms of, okay, so Congress, they have the power to coin money and anything that's counterfeit. Like, is there something in terms of legal implication using cryptocurrency and U.S. dollars?
Are you breaking the law if you make your own money?
Apparently not, because we're making our own money all over the place right now. Okay, back up. We are in the wild, wild west. So like what goes, goes. The laws are being made and established as we speak, and we are the ones making the laws, and we're deciding how this works, and it's really complicated. So in terms of, I mean, I guess my answer is, I don't know. We don't know. We don't have the regulating. It's not like cryptocurrency came along after we built the regulations. This came along, and now the regulations are having to be built around them.
So I guess my question is, if I make a profit off of cryptocurrency and exchange it for money, is it taxable?
Yes. That I do know the answer to. And yes, you absolutely do have to pay taxes on your cryptocurrency assets. However, somebody said to me was, yeah, but they don't know who you are. So there are a few little things. Like, am I saying avoid paying your taxes? No. Is it tricky? Absolutely. What were you going to ask, Todd?
Well, that's what I was going to comment on. Like, it's not connected to the individual. How do they know?
Right. The IRS isn't going to call up Kristin Beasley's cell phone and say, hey, you didn't pay your taxes. However, there was an earlier lawsuit started against Coinbase, which we're going to talk about. That's where you throw your USD money into an exchange, and you buy Bitcoin Ether, Bitcoin Cash now, Litecoin, and they're looking at adding Ripple. So those are altcoins. But what Coinbase was ordered to do by a court was to release documents of anybody who had exchanged more than $20,000 in cryptocurrency. This was a huge deal, and it's a huge piece of, this is where two economies are colliding. The anonymity of our money, is it really anybody's business what I do with my money in my exchange? Or is it the government's business to know every single penny I spend and earn and buy and do? So Coinbase was ordered to release the names of anyone who had transactions of over $20,000 in Coinbase. So that's, it's happening history is being made as every day. Every single day something new is happening. So back to economic equality. Cryptocurrency is open source money. I can just trade money with anybody. It's like cash, but it happens on a blockchain. It happens on a computer, because really, who around here carries cash? Do you carry? Okay. You carry cash. Okay. Many of us carry debit cards. Many of us have credit cards. Many of us have Venmo, other ways of transferring money back and forth. So it lowers the cost of producing a means of exchange. You don't need a mint anymore. We don't need to mint money. We don't need to make money out of fabric. We're doing it on the blockchain. So we're trading costs, because there's electricity now and there's all kinds of other things. However, we don't need to have that expense. So it lowers the cost of dealing with money. It's also more easily organized monetary system if it's a global economy, where we're all using and sharing the same kind of currency. Is it risky, which jumps out at me? Absolutely. Yeah, it's risky. Is there a strategy? Kind of, but in the wild, wild west, what do you think the strategy was? Stay alive. That's pretty much it. Like, so if you're gonna play, one of the things I want to say this. One of the things that's critically important here is this is a be responsible for yourself environment. You cannot go to Chase and say, "Hey, somebody stole my money and I want it back." They're gonna say, I've had several people say to me, "Hey, I lost my seed words for my crypto exchange," because they give you a set of words, and those words are your key into your bank. If you lose those words, there is no retrieval system.
Are you talking about the wallet?
In a wallet, yes. Talking about in a wallet, so I'm probably jumping way ahead. Okay, so we're in this shift in the universe. Cash money into altcoin money. Has anybody seen these symbols anywhere? Some of these symbols? Okay, so this behind the picture is a Bitcoin. Everybody's seen that because it's on every news channel and all over the place, internet. But this is Ethereum. That's Litecoin. This is Ripple. Ripple is in a relationship with banks. They're a little bit of like, they're dancing the line of centralized, decentralized, but they're the third largest coin in existence. Like they have the third largest value of all the coins. Ethereum as the second, Litecoin I think is in fourth or fifth, and I think that's Monero, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, so these are all coins that exist, and the purpose of every coin has a utility. Some coins are, the purpose of Ripple is to transfer money fast across borders. Like that's its job. Is it to buy movies, tickets? No. It's not Fandango. Its job is transfer money across borders quickly. And they've got lots of partnerships with centralized banking organizations because you know the banks aren't going, "Oh, sure, take over our economy. We're going to just leave and you can be in charge of the money now in the whole world." That's not going to happen. The banks are going to have some foot in this game, and their foot is in Ripple. Yeah.
Interesting anecdote. In January, when Ripple is $3 whatever, the founder of Ripple is worth more than the founders of Google.
Founder of Ripple is worth, yeah.
In January.
In January. November?
Maybe. When is $3 or whatever?
It was $3 in November, December. It was probably December. Because in right now, today, it was at 60 cents on Tuesday, and it is at 80 cents today. Because it had about a 14-cent jump between Tuesday and today.
Wait, so it dropped.
Standing in the parking lot. It went, oh yeah. There's some numbers up here I'm going to show you. But yeah, the market, this is risky. It's not fun, and it's absolutely exciting. So I'll show you some apps that you can use to fiddle around and play, because you're going to want to fiddle around and play with some of these apps and learn about altcoins long before you put some money on the table. So there's a comparison. Fiat is just a funky word for cash. Cryptocurrency is Bitcoin and altcoins and all of that. So the difference between the two is fiat's a physical money. Crypto's a digital money. Fiat's made up of bills and coins. Crypto's made up of one piece of personal code and one piece of a public code put together in order to move it down the blockchain. Fiat, oh my gosh, we're running out of money. Let's make some more. There's the government mint. Bitcoin, there's 21 million. There's never going to be more than 21 million Bitcoin in the whole universe. So if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. There is a limited supply. Fiat is controlled by governments, and you're it. Cryptocurrency is decentralized. You have to be responsible for your own money and your own transactions. There will be a system in place. One of my things is, I'm from the world of social experiments. So clinical psychology, human development. I say your soft skills are your hard skills. So you need to know, you need to develop your soft skills because machines cannot do what we do emotionally and connecting and all of those things. But I'll tell you, nobody does a calculation better than a computer. So what you learn how to do in relation to anything should always be backed up to soft skills, those emotional pieces that computers are not. Data from Star Trek, I don't know, am I outdating myself? But, you know, he's not the soft skill guy. He's the hard skill guy. So, so what you need to know, you're never going to compete with a computer. You're going to compete with other humans, or better yet, let's not even use the word compete. Let's use the word like you're going to collaborate with other humans. And so you need to, those are some of the things that are really, really important here. Supply and demand, determined by markets and regulations. Regulations are made by governments. And the decentralized cryptocurrency is determined by supply and demand. It's easy. You want some? There's 21 million. There's less than that. There are fewer people in San Francisco than 21 million people. That means if everyone in the city owned 1 Bitcoin, sorry, Central Valley, you are done and out. We're talking 21 million of something in the entire world. So here's some crypto lingo for you. You probably heard some of it, or maybe you've not heard any of it. There's like, when I Lambo. Lambo means like, when I make a lot of money, I can buy my Lamborghini. There's another one called double Lambo I heard the other day. That means like, I'm really gonna make $1 zillion. Bitcoin I trust, HODL I must. So HODL, there was an error, a typo in a blog or somewhere on the internet, and it was supposed to be hold, just hold, hold, hold. And instead it got printed as HODL, and so now everybody says HODL, and it says hold on for dear life. Because people panic and they're like, oh my gosh, it's going down, and sell it. And then sure enough, turn around. Who knows somebody who had a Bitcoin for $5 and then when it was $20,000 are like, dang it, I shouldn't have sold it. You say Bitcoin's the best, but it's four times slower than Litecoin. So Litecoin is an altcoin. It's like it does the same thing as Bitcoin, but it does it a lot faster. Somebody, you know, the first is the first. Bitcoin's the first. It's slower, but people trust it because it's the first. So the blockchain is about checking everything. You're going to hear the word blockchain because that's the ledger that's replicatable and verified. And a Ledger Nano, this is a wallet. This is where you can keep your money in a really concrete, it's in my piggy bank. It's on my Ledger Nano. And your Ledger Nano, if you lose that Ledger Nano, you're not getting your money back. I mean, it's going to be, it's gone. And to get into that Ledger Nano, if you don't have your codes, you're going to lose your money. So there are other ways to hold money in cryptocurrency on paper wallets and exchange wallets, but we'll talk a little bit about that. There's a little bit more of talking the talk. Here's some other words. To the moon, or mooning, is when it's going up. Fiat is dollars. A whale in the market is somebody who owns a lot of a crypto and then they try to like control it going up and down. So you'll hear people say like, oh, it's all the whales that are pushing it down. They're trying to make people paranoid to sell theirs. So then when it goes low, they can buy it all up. Because really, we're dealing with, this new market that has some really altruistic features to it. Like it's really about equality and, you know, but at the same time, everybody wants to make money. And all the people who are on Wall Street and in the stock market, they're in this game now. They are starting to play in the game. An ICO is an initial coin offering. So let's say I make a Kristin coin, and I'm going to sell my Kristin coin. So I'm going to go pitch it out there and say, hey, if you want to buy my coin, you can buy my coin, and I'll give you twice as many at the initial coin offering. For every dollar you spend, you'll get twice as many coins. So anyway, generational levels of understanding. We've talked about millennials. We've talked about the Gen Ys, and now they're digital natives. So, however, Xers, baby boomers, traditionalists, I've been at Bitcoin meetings where I'm watching all these different aged people understand this economy disruption in a different way. So it's really important to understand the language. It's really important to understand what people are saying and how to talk about it and talk it through. Questions?
One of the things that's interesting is just like how when new cultures emerge, they have their own language.
Oh, absolutely. And this is absolutely a new culture, and it definitely has its own language. This is probably my favorite slide. It's about disruptive innovations. And one of my favorite new words is fringe lunatic. All right, so fringe lunatic is a word where 2.5% of a group involved in a new innovation is like the promoter. At this moment, I'm serving as a fringe lunaticer, and I love it. So I did my master's thesis on change, and it was called Implementation of an Innovation. So I guess it's kind of not that weird that I'm here, but I'm not an expert on Bitcoin. I remember studied this all on my own. All right, so disruptive innovations. It's when there's time for widespread adoption of something new. We've had several disruptive innovations over the course of history: the telephone, electricity, cars. But as you can see from over here, look, it took several decades for those disruptive innovations to actually take hold and become 60% or 80% or 100% in use. Can you imagine a time when only 20% of the people drove cars? Well, we're kind of actually shifting back to that with our Gen Ys. However, when we get over here to smartphone, tablet, social media, even credit cards, we're not even talking an entire decade for mass use. It is happening so much faster. So, note to self, what does that mean? Why did it take the car or telephones or electricity to catch on? Why did it take so long, and then a tablet or a smartphone was like instantaneous? Go ahead.
Because like people didn't have, ways to find out about it.
It's public taste.
Yep, people didn't have ways to find out about it. Absolutely. So now we are communicators. We communicate. We don't just communicate in our room, right? How do we communicate?
Technology, social media.
Globally. We're talking to everybody all the time. Shoot, we're talking to the moon in satellites. So we are not like just, oh, here, I'm gonna like get on my horse and ride my little piece of mail across to the other farm and tell them something. No way. You wanna know something, you're on it. When I was 10, nobody said Google it. That was not a thing. Nobody was like, oh wait, where am I going? I am a navigationally challenged person. My daughter said to me, man, Mom, you know how to get anywhere. And I'm thinking, are you insane? Like, nobody would follow me down the block and get to where they want to go. But she said, we depend so much on maps in on our phones that we don't have any sense of the landmarks in our community. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, that was life or death for me, being navigationally challenged, that if I didn't know that the Tower Theater was like a big thing with a star lit up on top of it, like that's what I would tell my son. Like, okay, if you ever get lost, just tell him to take you to the big star that lights up downtown. And so, so anyway, it's really interesting how we share information. Oh wait, I'm not done with this slide. Credit cards had less than a decade for 80% adoption. Social media, 90% adoption. Digital natives, that's what we call Gen Y. So you have some Gen Yers. I have a granddaughter who's a Gen Y. And in their lifetime, they are going to embrace automated cars fully and cryptocurrency. As much as everybody in here and the world is still in total denial that we are going to actually transfer money in this way, it's happening and it's going to happen and you cannot avoid it. Nobody is going to care that you have cash in your pocket. They are going to say, where's your Bitcoin or your whatever it is. Each generation gets up to speed on new technology faster than the last one. So you want to keep up with your kids in technology? Forget it. That's a waste of time. It's embedded in who they are genetically and socially. You can't. So what you have to do is teach them the soft skills, how to use the information and the world that they have in the best way possible. Okay. Experience is ahead. But you better proceed with caution, because this is, again, the wild, wild west. And no experts during a disruption. Do you think I have ever taken any class on this? I have never, ever, ever studied cryptocurrency with somebody who was a teacher, like in an organized setting. I have studied it intensely, probably 3 to 4 hours a day, since I can tell you the exact day I learned about it, November 7th, 2016, because I was talking to my granddaughter's grandfather, my son-in-law's dad, about it, and we decided, I said, yeah, I'll give you $500, we'll see what happens. And I'll tell you that story in a bit. Now, there are experts in tech. This is you guys. You guys are the experts in tech. There's not really experts in what's going to happen next, but you're experts in tech. So the blockchain stuff you can learn, and let me tell you, there are going to be a zillion jobs. It's all speculation. You're making educated guesses. I like to call it calculated risks. I don't play the lottery, but there are lots of pieces of points that I can learn in terms of making a calculated risk choice about a particular altcoin. All right, I know this is the part you guys are super interested in, and it's the part I know the least about. So this is not my super skill set. However, mining cryptocurrency takes a lot of electricity. It's also there's a complex algorithm that goes through the blockchain, and miners compete to win a piece of a Bitcoin or a piece of whatever particular altcoin that they are mining.
Dust.
So, what?
Gold dust.
Gold dust. There you go. Out of the wild, wild west. There you go. So I really truly believe that what's going to ultimately end up happening is that large corporations are going to take over this. They're going to find their footing. The AT&Ts, the Facebooks, the Microsofts, the Googles are going to hog this space. And I don't know I literally just have no sense of what's going to happen, because that's exactly, in some ways, that would then make it feel more centralized again, which is what the whole point is against. I don't think you can mine Bitcoin today at a profit compared to the cost of electricity. I think that is over, but I'm not sure.
What about altcoins?
Definitely altcoins, but I don't know, I don't know which ones or how, because that's not my thing. So, all right, so how do you buy cryptocurrency? I get asked this question a lot every day, and it is not like, oh yeah, you want to get some cryptocurrency? Sure, come on over, it'll take an hour. No. You're not having crypto. If you want to buy cryptocurrency this moment right now, you will not have cryptocurrency in your wallet for probably at least a week. It's slow. It's a blockchain. It does not move fast. It requires verification along several different places. So verify, 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 because you are not going back to the Chase teller and saying, hey, I lost my debit card. So there, you change your USD, your money, into Bitcoin or ETH on a place called Coinbase.com. I'm going to let you guys look that up and check it out. Then you go to a currency exchange, and there are tons of them. I just put 3 up there as an example: Bittrex, Binance, Bitstamp. And then you will use Bitcoin or ETH to buy altcoins. There are other things you can use to buy coins, but these are the easiest on most exchanges. That's how you can move stuff. Questions? Can I make a lot of money? Everybody wants to know this too. Absolutely. And you can also lose a ton of money. So I'm giving you some numbers that are just random numbers, but for the same profile of coins, all right? So there is an app. There's an app that you can put on your phone called CoinCap. No, CoinFolio. You can also put CoinCap on, and it'll track the market of every single altcoin in existence. I think it refreshes every minute. Maybe even faster. I don't know. Anyway, so in November, and I didn't put this on here. In November, this number was over $450,000, the same profile of coins. Then on the 5th, last week, that profile of coins dropped, all right? So I took a math, I took a $10,000 imaginary pool of money and put it into an altcoin profile. So this is a profile that I invented, and then I watch it. Then on the 6th, it went, okay, we're talking less than 24 hours. It went from $100,200 to $127,000. So what would be a smart day trade move? Get that 27,000 bucks out of there. Not super easy, but you can learn how to. That's a dangerous game. Don't learn that game. On 2/7, it's back up to 141. And you can see we're not talking 1%, 2%, 3% gains or losses. We're talking massive losses and massive gains. Bitcoin in October of 2011 cost $2.22. For $100, you could have almost 50 Bitcoin, 40 Bitcoin. So, and then that 40 Bitcoin would have been $800,000 in November. Done. You spent $100 and you made $800,000. Okay, this is why they say 2020 is, no, hindsight is 2020, because we would all do that, right? But how could we do it? In February, so in December it went up to 1966. In February it went to 816. During this week on 2/5, it dropped all the way down to right at $6,000. And now it's back up, and today it's at about 8,400. All right. Dear past, thanks for the lessons. Dear future, I'm ready. Embrace it. It's coming. There was a day in history when everybody carried a pouch with gold in it and said, hey, you want to trade me some gold for some milk and some sheep and some whatever? And then they're like, no, because we're changing money and we're going to give you paper now, and we're going to give you these other coins that are like pennies and nickels and stuff. And they were like, seriously? I don't want paper instead of a gold nugget. But where are we today? Anybody in here carry around gold nuggets? Yeah? Okay, all right. Okay, so that's the shift. And now we say nobody's gonna get rid of dollar bills. Oh yeah, they are. Economy has changed several times in our history of humanity. So that's it. That's what I know. That's what I've learned. Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
I have some Bitcoin Cash. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah.
Good for you. How'd you get it? Do you,
Coinbase.
like it was a drop
No, I bought some. I bought like $50 worth.
a while ago?
About a month and a half.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's been going down since I bought it.
Don't worry. It'll go back up. Okay, this is what you need to know about the cryptocurrency world is we haven't even started. Remember, this is the lunatic fringe that are involved in it at the moment. No, most people, I tell you, go in the grocery store. They'll know, they will have heard the word Bitcoin. If they tell you about a bubble, you go, well, yeah, it's probably, there is no bubble yet. There is no bubble yet. We haven't even, it hasn't even entered our universe yet. So it's like electric cars. Remember when electric cars kind of first came onto the scene? They're barely now mainstream. Or solar panels, thank you. Yeah. Innovations are weird, but disruptions are different than innovations in that disruptions take over an entire industry and disrupt it to the point of obliterating it and then making it into something new. You had a question.
So, could you just put $100 into a cryptocurrency and just let it sit? Would that be a bad idea? Or just like come back to it like 5 years later and just see where it's going?
It would be a phenomenal idea, but I wouldn't do it within. You have to pick your coin. You can't, because now there are lots of people. Remember, you guys work in computers. There's hackers, there's viruses, there's all kinds of things that mess with computers. So you would have, like if you were just going to put money into one thing, and I am not an investment suggester, like this is your money if you do whatever. Put it in, study, 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 make sure that the team behind the coin has solid infrastructure. They have a utility for that coin. That coin has a purpose, and that purpose is something that people actually really do need. Social media is a purpose. Entertainment is a purpose. Casinos are a purpose. All kinds of, there's a coin called DentaCoin. Dentists are going to use a cryptocurrency coin. So there are lots of different coins. So you need to understand the utility. YouTube it. You'll learn about it. Yes, go ahead, and then I'll grab you.
Okay. So my brother, do you know what VibeHub is?
Say it again.
VibeHub.
VibeHub.
It's like it's like a virtual reality. Crypto-based company.
Okay.
And he worked for them. He does all their content, and they paid him $100,000 of their cryptocurrency. And just last month, it was at like $25,000 when they paid him.
Okay.
This last month it went up to $500,000.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. Because there's something behind it. It's got some utility purpose. But if I were him, I might get out half of it and leave half in. So I take my gains and I move with my losses, and keep going, or leave what I had. Because if it crashes, then he's going to be so hurt. Like he's going to be dying that he lost $500,000. But, so that's the other part. Take a class in economics. Take a class in how to figure out when to get out, when to stay in, when to switch things up. Or just talk to people. Talk to people who have some experience in that. Yes?
So a whale at the height of, not necessarily a bubble, they'd sell out their stuff, and then they would start telling everybody that it's popping, right? Mm-hmm. So they would try to convince everybody, hey, sell.
Sell.
It's actually, they're on the fringe, right? Essentially. So they're trying to influence the market, and once it gets low enough, they'll go back in.
Oh yeah, there are very strategic points where they're like bottoms out. At $6,000 on Tuesday, I knew Bitcoin is bottoming out at 6,000 because normal, regular, public people are going to start picking it up as soon as it hits a certain point. They know what that point is because we're smart. We do research on these things of how people act. So we know those points where they're going to start buying it again. So they push it as low as they can, and then they jump in and they take all their money that they pulled out and they throw it back in and they buy it all back up, and then it surges, and then it steadies off a little bit. And they're controlling the market. The stock market is involved in cryptocurrency now. Like there's no way around it. Like I heard the phrase pump and dump the other day. They're buying up these cheap, junky coins, then putting out fringe lunatic messages. Hey, this is going to be the greatest new coin, da 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 da, go buy it, and get a whole bunch of people to go buy 5-cent coins. They buy a zillion coins, and guess what they just did? Up the price, dump it down, and there's nowhere for it to go back up because it didn't really exist in the first place. It was just a hokey garbage coin. So you got to make sure there's something behind the coins that you're interested in and supporting. So, but you can go to a website called Singular DTV and literally make your very own coin at Tokit. You can make your own coin and then you can fund your own whatever. So David Bowie actually did this originally. He was way ahead of his time. He sold Bowie bonds to fund his music because he was like, forget it. I don't want agents and managers and whatever to make all my money off my genius, brilliant music. I want to do it myself. So he put Bowie bonds out there. And guess what? All of his fans said, hey, I want in on Bowie. They bought Bowie bonds, and he made his music that way. So he's the originator, and Singular DTV actually is disrupting the entertainment industry by allowing artists, movies, music, videos, any kind, documentaries, to create their own coins to fund their own, you know this word, crowdsourcing income. So forget it. I don't need to go to the bank anymore and beg somebody to loan me some money to start my business. I'm going to go to my friends who know me and say, oh yeah, you could really make that happen. You're David Bowie. So you need to know, like, there are a lot of pieces. We could go on for like class 2, but this is just the first layer. So thank you for listening, and I hope it was a little bit helpful or entertaining or interesting. So thank you.